Happy 2016, folks. My name's Brian Cohn. I'm a Bitcoiner, and I'm also a librarian, or at least I'm supposed to be. Occasionally I come across articles of historical significance, especially in Chronicling America, which I've decided to share on YouTube. And this one I found from the Evening World, Monday, December 4th, 1911. And there's a subheadline, Everything in the Past All Wrong. That's totally what it should say. But the headline is, New Cult in Art Drapes the Nude, Bars Sentiment. Everything in the Past All Wrong, says Andre Tridon, High Priest of Futurism. This is one of those titles that sounds like it came right out of the Onion. But it's not. This is an article from December 4th, 1911. Looks ahead, not past. No puritanical notions about it, but only cold eye of science. These articles have been scanned in by libraries, and sometimes it's really tough to read what's going on. And it's that first sentence, I have no idea what it says. I'm going to say it says, A was love. And the article begins. Get the hook for sentiment, also for the artists who paint the nude. Robert W. Chambers, Laura, Lean Libby, Eleanor Glynn et al. Take notice. Sentiment, love. Palpitating hearts, strong young bodies tempestuously trembling to murmured words of endearment. In fact, all that makes for sighs, blushes, and heaving bosoms is taboo. Gone is the love light from melody's eye. Gone in the deep, passion-inspired sigh from behind Millard's polished shirt front. Romance is dead. Love is a splattered bubble. That is, they are to be. This condition of affairs is about to come about. That is, if the futurists have their way. Futurism, a brand new philosophy, has landed on all 4 feet with long ears wiggling in New York. Everything lands here sooner or later. Futurism is again love, again sentiment, again the past, again the nude in art. In fact, futurism is again almost everything but futurism. What is futurism? Why, that is, why it's as easy to understand as pragmatism, cosmeticism, or other such like kindergarten philosophies. Briefly, futurism is, well, at first blush, it would appear to be the fine art of opposition, or the art of sciences or philosophy of being again. A futurist can make the new philosophy as clear as you make the Missouri River in a few minutes. It's as easy to grasp as the 4th dimension. And I said again and again, they're spelling this AGIN and putting it in quotes. So whatever the heck they're talking about, there you have it. The 2 arc futurists of futurism now here. Well, anyway, futurism has landed in New York and is about to seek converts. If you are again love or the nurse in art, you have a fair chance of becoming a futurist. The 2 arch-futurists of futurism in Gotham are Andre Tridon, sometime writer, critic, drinker of black coffee, frequenter of audio, and dreamer of dreams. Mr. Tridon holds 4th in 2 rooms rear at number 112 East 19th Street. Hope I got that address right. His associate conspirator along futuristic lines is Leon Dabo, landscape painter, is a quaffer of black coffee and a futurist to the core. A reporter for the Evening World dared to flights of dark and winding stairs and uncovered the 2 conspirators in their lair. The rest was easy. After the reporter had gotten his lungs accustomed to the burning of incense in a swing center and gulped a cup of jet black coffee, the pioneer futurist lucidated. Said Mr. Tridon, Futurism of philosophy, which was formulated about 2 years ago by F.T. Marinetti, a French writer whose book, Marque les Futuristes, got him into jail. It has just come to America. Futurism is the application to art and also to life of the principles that obtain in science. With the futurist yesterday is always wrong as against the morrow.
Futurists regard the past only as it points out errors to be avoided. There is no inspiration in the past. The past is dead. We may go back to the past with profit in learning how to avoid making mistakes, but that is all. Past merely a collection of mistakes. The past is merely a collection of mistakes, and we must avoid. Scientists never look back into the past, but ever ahead. And like scientists, futurists never look back except to look at errors to be avoided, but always ahead into the future. Everything in the past is wrong. Everything in the past is dead. We derive no benefits from the past except lessons in error making. The aim of futurism is to knock the past out of writing and painting. We don't send a bookkeeper to studying bookkeeping methods of the 15th century. We don't set our student pharmacists to the brewing herbs by the light of the moon. I have no idea what that means. We don't send our naval constructors to studying Roman galleys that they may build burning dreadnoughts. Science forgets the past. Science ever peers into the future. Futurism, like science, looks ahead, not back. And yet, in art, we send our students to the copying pictures painted hundreds of years ago, even though we know more of color and harmony than painters of the past ever knew. Then, because the past some artists painted women and men in the nude, we have been doing so ever since. Futurists would place a heavy penalty on any artist for the next 50 years paints a picture of a nude. Futurists are sick of every painter flaunting his mistress's shape on the public. Like the poor, nudes have always been with us in art. We have no right to paint the nude because we don't set enough of it. If everyone went about nude, it would be different. We would be used in the nude, and being used to it, our artists could paint the nude. Now an artist lures a woman to pose on the nude and expects the public to understand the nude, which is seldom seen. Futurists have no moral objections to the nude. They are tired of seeing painted things that are not seen enough to be understood. Walls covered with studies of the nude. Mr. Tilden halted his tirade against the painting of the nude to something, a cup of water. I would just drink it if I were him. To drink a cup of water. Mr. Dado also quaffed, and as did the reporter. The latter's eyes, in the meantime, wandered about the walls of the den, study workroom, or whatever it might be called, and nudes met his gaze everywhere. There were photographic reproductions of nudes from the brushes of the same masters whom the futurists decry as failures, nudes in lavish colors from the brushes of modern French and German artists, and rudely torn from the cover pages of Continental magazine. Nudes everywhere. Consistency, thou art what was the use? The coffee was excellent. An incense-laden atmosphere lotus-ized the scenes and subdued argumentative desires. Mr. Dabo began where Mr. Tridon left off. Mr. Dabo is acutely interested in futurism as it applies to painting. Mr. Dabo drew diagrams to illustrate the application of the new philosophy to painting. Futurism, in its application to art, aims to show movement. Nature is never still, say futurists. Therefore, movement should be shown, said Mr. Dabo. The newspaper cartoonist who illustrates movement with the lines to a degree of futurist. He illustrates a boy swinging a cat by the tail with a circle of lines through the air that shows the course of the cat has and is taking. That is what futurism is art aims to do in a more specific manner. Whistler applied futuristic theories to his work without having known the philosophy of futurism. Art applied to optics means movement. Rodin, the sculptor, is a futurist in his modeling. This is accompanied by ascertaining a certain spot in a picture or a statue. You gaze fixedly at this spot, and then when you look at the rest of the picture or statue, you see life or movement. Futurism aims to bring about an irritation of the optic nerve by concentration on one spot, and this irritation brings about movement. It is art applied to optics. Take, for example, Rodin's statue of Thought in the Metropolitan Museum of Fine Arts. It depicts a man sitting with a head bowed in heavy thought. One of his feet first strikes the eye has been accentuated. The sculpture has made the lines deep, and the shadows are consequently heavier, and the whole makes a dark spot on the figure that catches the eye. Let the eye rest on this foot steadily until optic nerves have been sufficiently irritated. Then look up at the rest of the figure, and you see the head move down into the hand. You see life, you see movement. That is Futurism. Mr. Tridon had been sufficiently stimulated by his coffee, I don't know what was in that coffee, without milk and one lump, if you please, by this time. The reporter was absolutely at their mercy. The incense had accomplished its dastardly purpose. I don't think it was incense. Okay. Futurism was rampant. There was naught to do but hearken. Many a good novel and many excellent play have been spoiled by mushy sentiment, quoth Mr. Tridon. Someone sometime inject a lot of mush into a book, and never afterwards novelists think it necessary to do likewise. The same true of plays. Some former usher or grocer who becomes a theatrical manager decides that mushy sentiment is necessary in a play, and it goes. Futurism will stop all this. Favor suffrage as a check on mushy sentiment. We futurists are in favor of suffrage. As far as it concerns the ballot, we do not care. We want women to be on an equal footing with men. A woman is merely a man, but because of her social position, we have made a goddess of her. When she comes down on the same footing politically with men, all this mushy sentiment will disappear. Men and women will become confidants the same as men become confidants. Men will not hesitate to speak out to women as they do now. They will treat women as equal and speak to them as they would to men. Our love will become like love of cavemen and cave women. All mushy sentiment will go, and this whole thing will be more healthy. Mr. Tridon, ably assisted by his fellow conspirator along futuristic lines, will give the new philosophy its initial introduction to New York next Tuesday evening in the studio building, number 132 East 19th Street. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you really enjoyed my narration, I'd appreciate it if you came over to my website, bitsofthis.com, clicked on Bitcoin, and sent me a few Satoshi. Have a great 2016, everybody.